Hey everyone, this is EJ Venture with a Structured Living Podcast. You can call me Ethan, you can call me James, you can call me EJ, you can call me Ethan James, you can even call me, EJ Venture. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, not Facebook, that I took that out. YouTube, different places. In the description for the podcast is a link to my Beacons page. So you'll find all of those social links from there, to even TikTok. Wow, look at that. You can check out some really cringe videos. But if that fails, if you can't use the link, you can search up Ethan J Venture on Instagram and Twitter. All other platforms is EJ Venture. Now, today I am talking about myself. I'm giving you some backstory, a little bit of an introduction. So if you're here for a lesson on the typical topics that we'll be delving into, mental health, structured living, organizing, driving, all that kind of stuff, might want to skip on to the next episode once it's in the lineup. I guess we'll get on with it. So stick around. If you have somewhere to be, have a great day. Welcome to the first episode, you guys. This is going to be the best podcast you'll ever listen to. That's a little presumptuous. No, we'll see where it goes. I am doing this as a hobby right now, and I've been trying to start this for a couple years now. I just haven't had a whole lot of direction on that. Certain things had to be lined up to begin with, and as a quote that I am becoming very familiar with, something that I heard recently is that the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is right now. So that's what we're doing. We're planting a tree, and we'll see what it grows into. So the name, the Structured Living Podcast, it came from my website. It's beingstructured.com. And there I talk about three main aspects of being structured, and that's in structured living, structured organizing, and structured driving. And so with structured living, I wanted to have a voice to that aspect of my website. And what better voice to have than a podcast? So I'm setting that up there. I have 3 posts on my website. I'm working on a 4th. And I'm not sure where everything is going to go. Of course, I'm going to stick to those conversational topics as much as I can. Of course, I've left myself room, of course, in the title of this podcast to talk about anything I want, really, because it's all about living, right? It's what you choose to do with your time, where you choose to go in life, and that is... that's a bit of the direction of the podcast. Now, talking about direction, the goals, again, I am starting this as a hobby, but I would like it to grow into a form of income where I can kind of transfer my physical job to the online sector, I guess, just to give me more freedom in life. I want to be able to travel, go different places. I want to be able to pick up anytime I want and produce some content. And that, that's where podcasting and blogging comes about, where I can, just be a little bit more free that way. So I'm hopeful that as time goes on and I create more content, that I can, find different avenues that way. In life, I'm very interested in flying. I would like to go to a flight school, whether that's fixed wing or rotary wing, helicopters, I mean, if you're not familiar with the term. I haven't decided which one it would be or where I would go. I'm interested in Prairie Bible College right now. It's out of Three Hills, Alberta, Canada, for those in the States and UK and wherever else. And so that's something that I've been thinking about for a long time, something that I want to do in life. I have so many goals, you guys, so many things I want to do. And that's not always true. Sometimes I'd rather not be here, if we're being honest. And that creates a whole lot of different issues. But when I am feeling really good, I want to do things like join the reserves in the military, fly. I want to create all these different kinds of content, and I want to travel and go places and see the world. My current place in life is, I am driving a pilot truck for a family friend, which has been really awesome as so far is what is the term I'm looking for. So far, it's been really awesome. I get to drive behind the wide load and just let people know, and I can drive ahead and such and let people know that it's coming, help out with safety that way. It's primarily a requirement that there's a truck with lights on it, letting the public know what's going on. But the reason that's a requirement is so that it's safe for other road users. So I'm just excited to be a part of that. I've only been on one job so far, which went really well. And since then, I've been working at this family friend's place at their acreage, just helping with some tree trimming and some random shop tasks. So that's been really fun. And, other than that, I've been setting up different social platforms. I just discovered my name, EJ Venture, which came from Ethan and James, which is one of my middle names. And venture, it's this idea of venturing into the unknown. I'm not going to sing for you. Don't worry about that. I think I do have a pretty swell singing voice, but you can discover that at a later time. I don't want to take up our time singing. Anyway, I love the idea of adventuring, going places, doing different things, and venturing into this whole society, this community of podcasting, of getting my voice out there and my ideas, thoughts, and feelings about different things. And so if I can help one person in their life, then that's enough for me. That's why I'm here doing this. I'm also here because I just need somebody to use my time. I don't need to be sleeping in every day and not doing anything. So this, I hope, serves both purposes that way. It kind of helps to separate the days. Every day is different, and maybe it'll inspire someone. That is what I'm hopeful for. Now, one of my conversational topics is mental health, and so I'll be talking about depression and anxiety and suicidal thoughts from time to time, and everything to do with all of that. Of course, if you struggle and you are susceptible to triggers and such, you know where to go. Resources are easy to find on the web. You can look up the International and National Suicide Prevention Helpline. And, real quick, oh man, it has been incredible, the amount of resources that have come out as a result of our current circumstances. I mean, it's not the greatest that we need those resources because of our current circumstances, but it's inspiring to know that mental health is not something that people are afraid to talk about anymore. I mean, there's still places where it's this thing that you push off to the side. But for the most part, people are coming out and they're okay with sharing that aspect of their lives. They're okay with helping others, and that's just really awesome. I'm inspired by that. I'm really encouraged. Anyway, so I have been in and out of depression and anxiety for many years, for 8 years. I'm 28 now. And in fact, it started in my early teen years. I wasn't so much aware of it back then, but I just thought, I don't know what I thought really. Maybe I thought that it was normal, that, from time to time, everyone else wanted to be alone for long periods of time. And I just had a lot of anger built up, and I pushed that deep down inside of me, which resulted in depression. And I didn't know anything about that until later on in life. So it's interesting looking back and seeing that kind of aspect of things. The trigger point for, in my 20s, finding out that this is something that I actually struggle with, was breaking up with my first girlfriend. I didn't know how to handle that. I hadn't done that before. And I didn't date when I was younger because I didn't see the point. When you are growing up, you change so much. And there's just no point in wasting somebody else's time, wasting my time, when I could very likely be a different person in 5 years. So I decided I wouldn't start dating until 18, and I know there's still a lot of growth in between 18 and 25, especially mentally. So at that point, I think I just wanted to finally give it a try and see what all the commotion was about. And then from there, I've had different relationships throughout the years, and of course different struggles with my mental health. But I have learned how to help myself through that, and I've learned not to be proud in it as much as I used to be, because I didn't want help before. And that's one side effect of mental health, is that you are self-sabotaging. You don't want to help yourself. You do things that make you digress in your recovery. So it's been a huge learning process, but I am stronger for it, and I'm moving on. And there are times when I am low and in the dumps, and in those times I contact friends, I talk to family. I do try to handle it myself, but I have certain tells, poker lingo, I guess. I have certain, there are things that come up that tell me when I'm getting to the point of no return, where I actually have to rely on those resources to be able to function, to be able to pull myself back from the depths. We'll talk about mental health as we get into different podcast episodes and topics and such. And it's something that I want to help other people in and through. It's something that I want to talk about, so that it's kind of pushing that narrative along, that it's okay to talk about these things. In the past, definitely wasn't. It was not a social norm. It's becoming more so. And I'm excited about that. Not that depression and anxiety is happening, but that people are okay to talk about it. Anyway, so one thing I want to touch on is camp ministry. It's been a huge part of my life for the last 8 years. I got started at Brightwood Ranch and spent 5 years there. I went to Camp Hope. I took a year off, and then I went to Blue Brana Wilderness Camp, which is where I spent the last couple of years. I have loved every part of it. Yeah, there have been some hard times in that, but the friendships that I've built over the years, the connections that I've made, the memories that I've created, have just been phenomenal. And I wouldn't trade those experiences and relationships for anything. I don't know when I'll be getting back into camp ministry. I've decided to take this summer off so I can focus on work and content creation. Yeah, I'm going to go back and help out when I can on a volunteer basis. And I don't know, maybe I'll be back next summer. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I've been in so many different roles, from maintenance, which has always been like an anchor in my camp experience over the years. Counseling, of course. I've been a climb and well instructor, outdoor unit leader for the outlying camps, in addition to the main site. I've been the program director and project manager. Yeah, lots of different things. So I have worn a lot of hats. Man, so many good times. It's all about making memories, right? That's a topic that I want to talk about in the future. Now, I guess I don't want to spend too much time talking about myself in this first episode. To wrap it up, I guess, you can find out a lot about me just by knowing that I'm an INFJ personality type, or I think another one is a type 9. They're the two different kind of personality things there. And I can't really give a whole lot of examples of what it means to be an INFJ, because I don't know if that's one of the aspects of it, but personally, I can't think of examples too quickly. If I see something on Instagram about an INFJ and what that personality type means, and how they operate and such, I can go along with that. I can totally agree. Like, yes, that is me 100%. But to actually share an example of that with you, I'm not sure. I guess one would be that as an INFJ, if I'm in a social setting, I'm looking around. I'm able to see everything that's happening. I can see, the different things that people are wearing. I can see what's happening. I can focus on a couple different conversations at a time. I can go back and forth. It's been a learning curve to be able to listen to a couple conversations at the same time. But it is possible. I know that's weird. I don't know. Anyway, going off topic. This is, that's what that's what it means to be an INFJ. That you are aware of things that are going on around you. No, there's so many different things that come up in that. I've found more of a community online than in person. I think it's kind of hard to find INFJs in person. We're kind of a rare breed, and it's just, I don't know. We don't come up too often. I know there are a few personality types that are pretty rare, and INFJs aren't the first ones to say that we're super unique. I think every personality type is unique, and there are different aspects that make up a person, and everyone is their own personality. We're made up of our experiences and our personality types. I didn't know my personality type until a few years ago, and since then, I've learned so much about myself. I know how I operate. I know how I like things to be done. And one of those is just like in being structured. I go around the house on a daily basis, and because of where I'm at in life right now, I have been back and forth between college and camp and home, my parents' house, aka for the last 10 years, I guess. So I've actually moved back in to my parents' house like 8 times at least. Each time has been um, a growing process. I've had to adapt many a time. Anyway, but I'll because I live with family right now, I go through the house on a daily basis, and there are things that I notice, and there are things that I like to be done. So I'm so happy to have my room, my closet that I get to record in, because everything is set up the way that I like it. My bed is usually made, with one exception on Saturdays. If I don't want to make it, I'll leave it. But everything has a place, and everything should be in its place. But that's not so for the rest of the house. And I'm learning that it's not so much about trying to get other people to do the things, or to do things the way that you want them to be done, as much as it is learning how to just let it go, to bypass that. And that's actually another content topic that I want to bring about in my website, in a podcast potentially. Just talking about what it means to be structured, but not expect that of other people. And so I'm hopeful that if I, once I get into that and research it a bit more, I'll find a bit more freedom. Because there are days when I'm in a low mood, everything gets to me. And so when the coffee maker's left on, or somebody left their laundry in the dryer, there's that quick little moment of just pure anger. And then it subsides and I continue on with my day. Thankfully, I don't act out too much in that way. I don't toss the person's clothes from the dryer onto the floor. I don't toss the coffee maker across the room. So that's really good that way. I've learned how to control myself a little bit better that way through the years. So yeah, what does it actually mean to be structured? What does it mean to live in a certain way? What does it mean to develop your driving habits, to continually learn and grow and focus on becoming a better person day by day? What does it mean to focus in on making memories? What does it mean to adapt to change, especially in mental health, to build resources, supports, different things that you can go to? These are all things that I want to talk about in my podcast, on my website, on the YouTube channel, on my Instagram. And so, yeah, I think I'll wrap up with that. If you want to follow the podcast, you can click that button wherever it is on whatever platform you're listening in on. You can go to my Beacons page. Again, it's in the description. You can find all my other social platforms on there. You can search up Ethan J. Venture on Instagram and Twitter. Even though I only have one tweet and not so many posts on Instagram, but if you want, you can follow me on Instagram. That's where I'm going to be posting more often, versus the podcast and website, where I'm going to focus on, 1 or 2 episodes and posts a week. Hopefully minimum. I don't know if I'll be able to stick to that, because of my setup, my studio, my hardware and software. It's not where I want it to be, and so it holds me back a little bit with the editing process, with the recording process, and it's I'd like to edit, or build up my resources that way in a little bit, I guess. And and also my mental health, like that gets in the way a lot of time as well. I have lower moods from time to time, and I can have episodes that last weeks on end. So if we start going through with, weekly episodes and posts and such, then just keep in mind that if I'm not around for a little while, don't worry about me. You can check in. That would be much appreciated. But you don't have to be concerned about me. Again, I appreciate when people contact me and let me know they're thinking about me. And yeah, no, I'm excited for this. I've actually tried to start this first episode 3 or 4 times now. And so to be able to come to the end of it like this, right about when it's about to cut me off, because I guess there's a 30-minute cap. Yeah, it's inspiring. And I don't know if that's more or less encouraging that I've tried to start this 3 times, or if it would have been better just to know that I got it on the first go. I don't know. I'm super picky that way. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I like things to be just so, as I was talking about earlier. So if there is one small error in a video or audio, I'll often do or redo the whole thing. I know there were a couple of moments in this episode where I noticed I was lagging behind a little bit. I was leaving some silences and saying and a lot. Yeah, there's another one. So I just want to get it out there. That's what it's about at this point. It's just starting. And so if there are mistakes, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at this point. If that's where the fear lies in making mistakes, then what's the point in doing anything? If you're gonna let that hold you back, then I don't know. I guess I just encourage you to do it anyway. If you're thinking about starting a podcast or a YouTube channel or a website with a blog or something, then just go for it. That's an encouragement that I've heard from many other podcasters and YouTubers, is to just go for it. And you'll learn along the way. Things aren't going to be perfect all the time. And so, yeah, just got to go for it. So the next podcast episode, I'll probably be talking about fear and what holds us back. I wanted to include that in this podcast just so there was a learning kind of aspect in addition to getting to know me a little bit. But that would have taken too much time. And so this is the focus for now. And that's where I'm going to leave it. So I hope you're having an awesome week. If you're tuning in relatively soon after this podcast goes up, we all know that this next week is going to be a scorcher. So make sure you take care of yourself, drink lots of water, put on a hat, stay in the cool shade as much as you can, use sunscreen, take care of your pets and your kids, and just be mindful of everything that way. So have an awesome week. I'll see you next time. Much love. Okay, so first episode, I'm happy about that. I'm really happy about that. Yeah, like I mentioned, there were some mistakes and there was some one or two, a few ums and ahs, but that's okay. I'm happy to just put it out, get it out there, and just go with it. So I am going to, I made a couple different recordings here, and I am going to delete this one, I think. I don't like that, so that's going to be deleted. So I'm going to put together a couple different clips here and some intros and outros and music maybe, and then we're going to put that out. We're gonna get it done, and so that's exciting. Yeah, great. Okay, so this has been the first podcast episode of the Structured Living Podcast by EJ Venture, your host. Until next time, I guess I'm just gonna end it right here, and yeah, I don't know. Okay, bye.